last we left off, we had just harvested some powder gangers and got their equipment repaired so that we can use our jury rigging skill to repair some more. So that's what we were up to last time. This time, I suppose what we could do. This time, I suppose what we could do is take some of our NCR funds, some of our NCR dollars, and take those to the strip, where we can then turn them in for chips, and then turn those chips in for caps, and then maybe switch out these NCR dollars, which really don't do us much good, for something a little more valuable, like possibly Legion Denarius? Possibly. That might be nice. Nothing like having some good old gold minted coins in order to have some fun in the Mojave. Gold minted coins can be good for decorating places as they're shiny and chrome, and very beautiful. And you can also use them to create a certain type of shotgun shell ammunition. Now, we are not a shotgun shell shooter, so we do not need shotgun shell ammunition. But we could use the coins for other purposes. It might also be a good idea to turn in a good bit of caps that we might be carrying for Legion Denarius. And the reason for that is it's just never the best idea to carry too many of one form of currency at one time. You never know when that form of currency will go out of fashion or out of style. For example, I used to be a big fan of the German Deutschmark, and unfortunately,
look at the caps, huh?
that style of currency went out of fashion quite a while ago. Did I think it was a beautiful style of currency? I really did. I had a lot of
Hey,
I had a lot
no
of
one but
hopes
Omertas are allowed to carry guns into Gomorrah. Check your weapons with me.
for the German Deutschmark, but it was soon replaced by the euro, leaving the German Deutschmark really only valuable to collectors.
You'll get these back on your way out.
Thanks. Yeah, so unfortunately, not a good idea to put all your eggs in one
Welcome to
basket when it
Gomorrah.
comes
How
to
can I help
currency.
you?
I need to turn in some of this NCR money for chips.
How many chips would you like?
I'll take 40 chips.
Here's your chips. Is there anything else I can help you with?
We're just gonna go through this for a while. But yeah, I noticed a lot of people nowadays, they're really into the cryptocurrency, which, I mean, it's a form of currency, so I don't see any reason why not to be into it. It's just I would diversify if I were a lot of the people who are in cryptocurrency and Pokemon cards and things of that sort, those alternative forms of currency. And the reason for that is, once again, you never know when a form of currency is going to go out of fashion. For example, when I was younger, the Beanie Babies were supposed to be one of those things where you could, in theory, use them as a form of currency. And I mean, I had quite a few of the Beanie Babies, hoping to trade them one day, and no, they never really went anywhere. At least for me. Maybe for somebody else, they might have cultivated and done something with their Beanie Babies, but me personally, they didn't do much for me. It seems like the highest form of currency that I've come across is liquor and water and the American dollar. So those seem to be the best forms of currency. Oh, and smokes, of course.
Here.
So we're just going to turn in all this NCR money because it is easy to get a hold of.
How many chips?
And there's really not much you can do with it once you got it. At least as a standard non-NCR citizen. If you're an NCR citizen, that wouldn't surprise me if you could spend this money at NCR stores for NCR goods. But seeing as how the NCR can hardly supply their own troops, I don't see much of a future in having and hoarding massive amounts of NCR money, especially the more the less valuable forms of NCR money, the $5 and $20 bills. After a certain amount of time, it's just clutter, and it's good to go ahead and take what you got and exchange it for caps every once in a while. But if you can, what I would suggest is only do this once in a while. It is good to hold on and hoard on to various forms of currency every once in a while, and just cash in your chips regularly. So you never want to hold on to too many chips for too long. You never want to hold on for too many caps for too long. You never know when the prices will change. So it's just good to regularly trade what you got while it still has value, while you know that it has value. Because once again, you never know when a currency of great value becomes a dud, valuable only to niche collectors. So these NCR dollars are actual dollars. These are, from my understanding, real legal tender within the NCR. So it's interesting that the Gamora is willing to accept it, knowing full well that the NCR could go under at any day. A handy bit of trivia when it comes to this game is Caesar, the mighty leader, he himself was once an NCR citizen before his NCR settlement was plundered and burned to the ground, leaving none alive other than Caesar, according to his story, according to his tale, and according to the words of the followers of the apocalypse, who you really don't have any reason to trust outside of either because you're gullible or because you just would like to believe what they say. So yeah, we're gonna turn in as much of this NCR money as we can, knowing that well, knowing what we've been told, that the NCR are not the most reliable form of government. And these $5 bills, it is good to turn them in while you got energy to, because it's every once in a while, just having a bunch of $5 bills, realistically, it becomes a hassle to try to spend this stuff. And main reason is because a lot of NPCs don't seem to use NCR money the way you would think they would, probably because they're not actual NCR citizens. And what ends up happening is every once in a while the NCR money inside of an NPC trader's inventory becomes trapped there unless you choose to buy it back. And it just clutters up their inventory bar. It's just more to scroll through and dig through. So sometimes, me personally, I find it easier just to turn it in for caps. And then what I like to do is try to turn in caps for Legion Denarius. But the reason why I don't always do that is because Legion Denarius are one of those currencies like the NCR currency where it's a currency of an unstable government, so you never know when it's gonna not be worth much. Now caps is this form of currency that is pretty old. It's about 200 years old, but the thing about caps is you can be robbed of all of your caps. Now there's only one NPC as far as I'm aware who will take every single one of your caps, but I know he's out there. So I like to diversify my money when I can. Now I don't like to hold on to it for too long, but I do like to diversify every once in a blue moon. Although it does take quite some time if you wait too long. But it can be helpful to have all this, even though these are $5 bills and they take forever to turn in cash, it can be helpful to have this hoard of paper around, because you never know when you'll lose every single cap that you got. So it's good to have a backup just in case you end up flat broke. So that's what we got here. Now we're gonna go ahead and farm more NCR money after we've turned in this NCR money. So it's not like we're just dumping what we got. I mean, we are dumping what we got, but we're not just gonna leave it at that. We're gonna, you know, when you empty a basket, you fill it back up. That's just how it works. So we are emptying our basket because our basket is over full. And the reason we are emptying our basket is so that we can easily, once again, fill up our basket. For what reason? That's the grind. That's the game. You empty your basket, you fill up the basket, you empty your basket, you fill up the basket. Simple as. Oh my gosh, but this 2 chips for $5, it has taken forever. But I mean, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. It's going to take quite some time. So what do we want to talk about while we're here? You know what, I'll go ahead and talk about what I've been eating recently. I've been trying out some sweet potatoes. For some reason, I just had a hankering for sweet potatoes. And I found out that sweet potatoes actually have 450% of your daily value of vitamin A per sweet potato. It is insane. It is insane. Now, vitamin A is one of those vitamins that you really don't want to take too much of. So if you do have a sweet potato, my advice is find someone who you want to share a sweet potato with, and share a sweet potato with that person. But yeah, I mean, if you're needing vitamin A to help with your eyesight, eat a sweet potato. Don't go and eat a million sweet potatoes though, because the vitamin A potency in it is quite high per sweet potato, and you really don't want to go overboard with vitamin A. But yeah, I was surprised to find that out, how much vitamin A was in a sweet potato. And you know, they're pretty easy to microwave. They're good to bake too, but if you just want a quick something to eat, I like to microwave a sweet potato and throw in some butter or some coconut oil and some spices. I use nutmeg, cinnamon, and turmeric, and it is excellent.
How many chips?
You see, the sweetness of the sweet potato mixed with the nutmeg and the cinnamon and the fat of the coconut oil, it's a really rich, it's awesome. It's really awesome. So if you're looking to try something new, something delicious, something nutritious, my advice is to try that out. It's really good. Okay, and we're still here. Oh my gosh, how many $5 bills do we got? This reminds me of when I was oh, there we go. We worked through it. Okay, we're gonna save that story for later. Okay, I'd like to turn in my chips. I'll take Legion money. What did he say? Let's see. How much Legion money do we get? Oh, and we're gonna work through that. Okay, let's just wait it out. Yeah, and honestly, chips are a form of currency that you can't really lose. Now, here's something to weigh out. So when you go to dead money, I believe all your stuff is taken from you, but I believe that you might still have your caps available to you. Now that doesn't help you much because I believe that you can only spend Sierra Madre money and not actual caps. So I mean, you got to take that into consideration. But when you go to the Sierra Madre, from understanding, this currency stuff, it's not going to really help you much. But here in the Mojave, it could be helpful to you to carry a fair bit of chips from each casino, a fair bit of NCR money, and a fair bit of Legion money. Now, one of the issues with NCR money is it shows up in your items and not in your miscellaneous category. The Legion denarius show up in your miscellaneous category, so they have a bit of a benefit there. And not only that, but Legion denarius can be used to, once again, craft ammunition, which you might not need necessarily, but it'll be out of the way. The other thing about the Legion denarius is it's very valuable, so it's going to be worth more to you, and it's also very beautiful to decorate your home with. Now, NCR money also has a nice look of its own to decorate your home with, but if you're going to go for dollar bill decorations, my advice to you is to go with the pre-war money, which comes in bundles rather than bills, and it's an older model. It's tried and true. I would say that's your better option. And mostly, the thing that also adds on to pre-war money over NCR money is pre-war money goes into your miscellaneous category, and it is weightless. Now, NCR money is also weightless, but it goes into your items menu and not into your miscellaneous menu. So it is going to get in the way. It is going to be hard to spend because it'll get caught in the cache. And it's just, my opinion is that NCR money in general is very troublesome. Once again, diversifying is important, so it can behoove you to collect NCR money rather than leave it when you find it. But when you got it, try to throw it away when you can for some caps or for some chips, and then turn those chips in for either caps or Legion denarius, which is what we're doing here. So yeah, that's my advice to you. So we're just gonna wait for the menus to finish through. Once, as you know, you were just here with us. We turned in quite a bit of NCR $5 bills. It's the most common form of currency found on the powder gangers outside of bottle caps, and we might be here for quite some time waiting for this to catch up with where we're at currently. I love that present, that present symbol. It's awesome. You often see that symbol when you are collecting fruit. So it's funny that when we are receiving Gomorrah chips, we get the same symbol that pops up when you're getting fruit. And that reminds me of once I was watching a stream where I told the streamer that they could save an incredible amount of medicine and caps if they just went to the NCR sharecroppers farm and harvested as much maize as they could, and pinto beans and mesquite. And they went ahead and did that, and they found out they didn't need to spend, 900, 100 caps every time they got hurt. Up to 200 caps if they're taking 2 stim packs at a time. Instead, they could just eat a bunch of food. And after that, they had realized the true value of food. When that philosopher said, "Let thy food be thy medicine," that phrase clicked in their head at that moment. And they said something really interesting. They said, "Oh, so food was the real currency the whole time." And that kind of blew my mind to hear them say that, because we're going back to what we just mentioned. When you receive those chips, those Gomorrah chips, you see the present symbol, the same symbol you see when you go and harvest food. So that phrase is always going to stick with me, and now it's just popping up in my mind as I'm seeing those gift basket, those gift present boxes pop up on the screen. But yeah, I mean, the the food is very valuable. I mean, if you want to consider that a form of currency, I would say turn in your caps and get food. Nobody's gonna take food away from you. Well, I mean, if you go into the Fiend, there's a junkie basement. There's a abandoned, there's a refugee camp, and within the refugee camp, there's a couple NPCs labeled junkie. And if you drop food around them or medicine of any kind, they will take it as quickly as possible, and they will consume it, and it'll be gone. It'll just despawn any kind. I'm talking beans, I'm talking medicine, anything. It's there and it's gone. So yeah, you want to be careful where you leave your food, but food could be a valuable form of currency to invest in. I've noticed some people, not necessarily investors, but some people who are investor-like will often take the currency that they have, whether they be from Europe, mostly from what I've seen, a lot of Italians and a lot of French. But anyways, they'll take the money they got and they'll buy canned sardines with it, which, I mean, it's not totally a bad idea. Canned sardines are a form of food that you don't need to cook. You don't need to wash. You don't need freshwater access to consume them. The most you need is either clean utensil or your hands, or if you're very skilled, you can just dump the sardines right into your mouth. So, I mean, canned sardines, I would say those wouldn't be the worst form of currency in real life, or if in the next Fallout game, possibly. But me personally, I'm not really the biggest sardine fan. I'll admit I do collect a few canned sardines, but for me it's mostly canned mushrooms. And I've noticed most canned mushrooms seem to come from the Netherlands, which is interesting. I don't know how they got all the way here from the Netherlands. It blows my mind. But yeah, I'm partial to canned mushrooms. Cooked, ready to eat, fibrous, protein-rich. They seem to add calcium into them, although the calcium might already be in the mushroom, because I know that when you're cultivating mushrooms, it can be helpful to take calcium, such as oyster shell, and grind it up and put it into your mushroom substrate to help build that mushroom's chitin walls. Chitin, chitin, whatever you want to call it. It helps to build those walls and build the fruit of the mushroom. So calcium deposits of any kind, whether it be limestone, oyster shell, ground up bugs, you really can pull calcium from wherever you want to. But once you got that calcium, you grind it up, put it in that mushroom substrate, and you'll have yourself some big, beautiful, glorious mushrooms. So I'm going to guess that the calcium is in the mushroom shell itself, in the mushroom chitin itself, in the mushroom chitin itself, in the mushroom chitin itself. And I find it quite enjoyable, nutritious, and you know, there's a internet personality online who is constantly complaining about having a hard time passing bowel movements, and if they're listening right now, I would tell you, try eating a can of mushrooms. And if preferably fresh mushrooms, don't eat them raw if they're fresh mushrooms. Always cook your mushrooms. Always cook your mushrooms. Now, if they're canned mushrooms, they are pre-cooked, so you can eat them straight out of the can. Most people would warm them up or add them into a dish like spaghetti or something. But I mean, me personally, open up a can of mushrooms every once in a while and eat those up. Pretty good. Big mushroom fan. But yeah, my advice to you would be try out some canned mushrooms. They got fiber, they got protein, and they might help you with easier bowel movements. Another thing you might want to try is fresh fruit. What else? Maybe those canned sardines. Maybe some chia. Chia's got a lot of fiber. It's got some other stuff you might want, fats, omega-3s, things of that sort. Now, of course, with chia, you want to soak it in water before you actually consume it, because it's just the nature of the chia. It's a seed, and it's a very special kind of seed, where it's best soaked in water before consumed. And if you end up with any left over, you can plant them. That's the best part. They are a seed that you can grow, and in the future, you can harvest your own chia and consume that. Okay, so we got our caps. Let's have a look at how many we got. See, that's what I love, having my currency in my miscellaneous section. This is the denarius, I believe. Denarius? How many denarius we got? Denarius. Where are you at, Legion money? Come on. Where is it at? Legion Arius. Okay, Arius. Oh, it's denarius. Okay, so we got about 45 denarius, 23 Arius. So the Arius is the good stuff. That's the actual gold stuff. The denarius is the silver stuff. So
welcome to Gomorrah.
Let's have a look and see if our friend here, the Gomorrah cashier, can help us trade in some caps. Oh, whoops, my bad. Never mind. Turn in some chips. Yeah, we're gonna turn in some caps for some chips, and then turn in those chips for some, hopefully, Arius. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, sweet, we got Arius. Okay, so we get gold coins here. We're talking the good stuff. That awesome currency. Okay, well, that's good to know. But it is about 1,000 chips for only 10 Arius. So I mean, the price is a bit high. And if we end up running into some kind of highwayman who's willing to rob us of our Legion currency, we could be looking at some trouble. Now the thing is, once again, the Legion is an unstable government. Now their currency is high in value, but they are an unstable government nonetheless. So it is very unlikely that somebody's going to rob us for Legion money. It's like a good example would be like if you were walking down the street and somebody, you know, they had a what would they have? They're crazy. They have a Viking battle axe, and they approach you and they say, "I want all your Bitcoin." Well, most people, your average citizen, doesn't carry massive amounts of Bitcoin with them. So it's very unlikely that a highwayman is going to try to steal Bitcoin from you. He might try to steal your credit card. That's possible. Might try to steal your keys. Might want your wallet. But very unlikely he's going to specifically ask for Bitcoin. And that's because it's not the most reliable form of currency. And that's because it doesn't have a stable government backing it. The cap from Fallout New Vegas has 200 years of backing. These Legion Denarius have only been around for about maybe 40 to 50 years tops, and I'm being pretty generous with that number. More than likely, they've only been around for 15 to 20 years. But yeah, the Legion Denarius, probably a good money to invest in if you're looking to avoid losing everything from a robbery, because it's a form of currency that your robber is less likely to want to specifically go after if he's tossing through your stuff. Well, anyways, I guess now we could get to turning in chips. Oh no, let's turn in some caps for chips. Now we've got about 1 million caps, so we might be here for quite some time. Yeah, so this is gonna take a while. What do we want to talk about? Okay, so one thing I've been considering if I decide to try to start up my mushroom farm again is I've been considering catching bugs and dehydrating the bugs and grinding them into a powder and using that powder to as a calcium supplement for my mushrooms. You see, bug shells are made of chitin, whatever you want to call it, and that is a form of calcium. And some would say it's also a form of protein if it's cooked properly. So seeing as how it would not be too different in chemical structure from the mushroom shell made of
Here's your chips.
chitin, whatever you want to call it. It might be an ideal ingredient for helping to promote beautiful, large, bolsterous mushroom fruit clusters. So that's one thing I've been considering. Now, one thing I gotta really figure out though is how I'm gonna catch those bugs, because so far the only way I've really figured out how to catch bugs is using a aquarium tank air bubbler and sticking it into a 5-gallon bucket with a weight to it, and in the 5-gallon bucket I put some dish soap and a bottle of beer. And what usually ends up happening is the bugs can't resist running into those bubbles, those beer bubbles, and they just drown right in it with just a few drops of dish soap.
Welcome to Gomorrah. How can I help?
One issue with that is liquid dish soap can be a problem when it comes to cultivating plants, so I imagine it might also stunt mushroom growth. So I don't want to contaminate my bug shells with liquid dish soap if I don't have to. Okay, well, we got that done. Let's see, how much Legionarius did we end up with? 350. I'm satisfied with that number. Okay, well, if you're watching live, thank you so much for watching live. If you're watching the VOD, thank you so much for watching the VOD. This is a charity stream, so if you could check out the link in the description, it'd be much appreciated. And that's all for today. Goodbye.